All right. This is the Quote Goats podcast. I am Tommy Guns. I have traveled all the way to the States, to Florida, where my buddy Philip here picked me up in this beautiful helicopter that you see behind us. I was scared out of my mind, but I'm alive. And it was awesome.
I mean, how many people do have the opportunity to, get picked up and fly third class in a beer can with a rotor on it?
I wouldn't say that was third class. I would say that was a first class trip right
Well,
there, man.
there you go. Well, I'm glad you had a lot of fun. Took us, well, it's more than most people get to fly.
Of course, man.
In a helicopter. You got to see SeaWorld. We took a little cruise around Orlando, and yeah, and then we flew through the middle of absolutely nowhere, which a lot of people don't know. Hey.
Yeah, it was. I know you kept saying it was nowhere, but it was really beautiful, man. Like,
Yeah.
the scenery, it was like all the fear went away once we got up in the air. You know what I'm saying? Well, most of it. I'll say like 95% of the fear went away.
Well, if you look at his Instagram story, you will see his eyes going like,
Yeah.
for the first few minutes. But no, I'm glad you had fun. So yeah, we're a flight school located here in Fort Pierce, Florida, which is Treasure Coast Helicopters. And yeah, we'll teach people how to fly helicopters commercially for recreation. You know, if you want to get your instrument rating, we have all of these opportunities to do. So we're also flying tours around Florida, and at the end of the day, we're working all day. Hey, what, honey? You want to say something? No? Okay. We're also starting an international program because it's, in Europe it's really hard to obtain your pilot's license because you need so many hours.
Right.
And it's also super expensive, right? I mean, all the good helicopter pilots that you see around Europe are usually trained here in the United States. So
Really?
yeah. So with the we have a few options. We have our R44, our Robinson R44 behind us, which is fantastic helicopter to learn on, and because it has hydraulics and all these things. But at the end of the day, it is a little bit more pricey than people think. So we're charging about $750, including the instructor for it. And there's the little brother of the R44, which is the R22. Doesn't have hydraulics. It's real flying. And we're charging about $325, $350. And we have the opportunity to also, get people here on student visas and all these kind of things. And we're starting our fixed wing program where you can then start flying around bonanzas that we have in the background over here.
As you can see.
As you can
So
see,
beautifully in the background.
We do not provide Ferraris to to drive around, but
That's
other than
just there
that,
for the aesthetics.
it's there for the aesthetics, exactly. And yeah, thank you, honey, for also sitting in this hot hangar with us, and little yeah, and little baby Monroe, which she's about 6 months, but I mean, I'll let Dr. Farah say a couple more things.
Yeah, speaking of being under the heat, under the pressure, you're a pretty big deal in your own right?
Me?
Yeah, why don't you introduce yourself to the people and let them know what you got going
I'm
on?
a simple brain plumber.
She's very humble. She's very humble, people.
Well,
Did you say brain plumber?
It's brain plumbing. It makes it much more tangible and
That's
easy
a
to imagine.
very simplified way of saying I do surgery on brains.
Yeah, well, my name's Farah, and I'm a neuroendovascular surgeon. That is neuro meaning brain, endovascular meaning within the blood vessels, like inside the body, minimally invasive surgeon. So I do surgery for aneurysms, AVMs, strokes, which is my passion because you really can almost dramatically improve somebody's quality of life. And I have been an attending, which is like a official non-baby doctor for about 2 years or so. And then before that, I had 8 years of residency and fellowship, which is the training after med school.
Okay.
And then, all the time before that. But I love what I do. And we are very different. We are polar opposites.
Right.
As far as like what we do and our personalities, you know, but he makes me he tries to make me a little bit more and I try to bring him a little bit more because he's this guy's a lot and it's okay. It's okay. I mean,
Right.
but you know, I think it eventually there's some homeostasis, there's balance there. But
That's
but
good.
yes, we are different, but we made a little thing there that's amazing.
Beautiful, baby.
Little mini us.
Yeah.
And what's her name?
Monroe. I named her. Well, he liked Mackenzie,
Mhm.
and he had liked it from the beginning of since the beginning of the pregnancy. And I hadn't come up with a name, but I was sitting on the toilet as most good
Where the best ideas come from.
you know, like I wasn't looking at my phone. I wasn't looking at baby name lists, exotic and cute, you know, unique baby names. I was sitting there like, you know what, Monroe. And I thought of President Monroe, one of our, you know, founding fathers. I thought of Marilyn Monroe, and I certainly didn't want her to be like that, but at least that was a last name. And then we were like, and then we had a baby shower where we had it was close to the election, so we had a little ballot.
Okay.
And Halloween party, yeah. And people would write either Monroe or Mackenzie and put it in a ballot privately.
Okay.
And then we read it at the end, and Monroe, you know, won the election. And then we weren't sure about a middle name.
So it was a Democratic
it was a
baby
Democratic
naming.
election, yes, very much so. And she was born on Christmas Day, completely by surprise on the 25th of December. I went into labor like at 4 a.m. I don't know if we can curse on this
Of
podcast.
course.
There was a lot of fuckery going on as far as like as far as Philip and his friends, and everybody was just acting a fool. And I was like, I'm 9 months pregnant. You guys need to get your act together.
I would like
And
to elaborate.
you can elaborate. And then I was like, you guys, like, this is ridiculous, you
Mhm.
know. And then I was like, oh, that, and that's it. And so her middle name is Noelle because of Christmas Day
Yeah.
surprise.
Oh, she was also born on Christmas.
Christmas, yeah.
Just
The 25th, Christmas morning.
Yeah.
Just like my wife. Let me give you guys a little advice on having a Christmas baby. Because every Christmas with my wife, everybody is walking on eggshells because she grew up pretty much competing with Jesus, you know? It's like the day that it's supposed to be all about you is, you know, Christmas.
You share with Jesus, yeah.
Yeah, you share with Jesus. And I guess maybe when she was a kid, she felt a little neglected by that.
Yeah.
Because she had to share it, you know? So now we have to go out of our way to make sure she feels special on Christmas. And if not, all hell breaks loose, you know? So that's just a little tidbit for you guys.
Steal that mic from you really quick, honey.
Okay.
Yeah, so what I didn't know that they do in America is half birthdays. I guess that's the thing. So a lot of people told us like, oh, you know, you want to do half birthdays, but you know, since I'm German, we talked about this and we were like, okay, maybe we're just celebrate traditional German Christmas on Christmas Eve, you know, on the 24th, and then have her. Hey, where are you going?
I can hold it.
You want? Okay. Yeah, so we thought we're gonna do it this way, but I mean the day she was born, like my wife said there was a lot of fuckery going on, so it was so on Christmas Eve we met up with some friends and they own a fantastic restaurant here in Vero Beach, and it was just I don't know we were six, 7, 8 people, and the restaurant was empty, and we had a little bit of drink. It's not Farah, but myself. So
a little bit.
I was also sick as a dog. I was sick as a dog.
Okay.
And we adopted a new kitten that a couple days before that, I think we picked her up, and because Farah wanted to have a kitten to grow up with the baby, and not that we already have a zoo at home.
Okay.
But yeah. And we got home. I had a little bit too much to drink, and the dogs were all happy about the new kitten. And like I said, sick as a dog. So I chucked a half a bottle of NyQuil, and you know, cat falls off the bed. Farah almost telling me to go fuck myself, right? Because everything's on her at that moment.
Right.
So I'm drunk, sick, and full of NyQuil. So for me, that was like, okay, I'm not dealing with this. which was maybe not my best hour. But yeah. And I was like, okay, I'll see everybody in 8 hours. You know, checked my NyQuil. And after that, about 30 minutes, 30 minutes to an hour later, Farah started to have contractions.
Oh, bad
And
timing.
yes, and so she wakes me up, and she was like, "I have contractions." I was like, "No, you're not." And I'm turning back over. Yeah, that's how out of it I was. But yeah, she eventually literally kicked me out of the bed, and we went to the hospital, and but yeah, I mean, if yeah, no, I'll
Yeah, that sounds like a pretty crazy predicament right there, though.
well, it was, like I said, it wasn't my finest hour by all means.
Hey,
But
you never know when, yeah,
exactly,
you know, life happens.
And but no, I mean, she came out. She was a little early. She was a month early, but she came out pink and screaming and perfect and
healthy, which is the most important thing.
You know, first thing I did was count toes and fingers and make sure they're all there.
Right.
But no, she came out perfect, and she's been a fantastic baby ever since. I mean, sleep is not her stronghold, I would say.
Yeah.
But since Farah doesn't sleep,
Then it's
I'm the
fine.
lucky guy that gets to sleep at night, and Farah gets to take care of her.
Right.
And but we're managing it pretty good overall, I think. With without having a babysitter, without having a nanny, and yeah, but yeah, that's how that went. And
Oh, that's great. Y'all got a beautiful. Me and her have bonded since I've been here.
Oh, 100%. Oh, 100%. Oh God, she's super happy about Uncle Tommy.
Yeah.
When he comes over. So
I got a lot of baby experience. Shout out to my wife and my kids.
right.
So, Farah, you're a brain surgeon, right?
No.
You're a brain plumber.
Brain plumber, yes.
I guess the first question I have is like, how did you even get into the field?
Well, I have, I've just always found the brain to be so fascinating. It's the core of who we are. I mean, all of our other organs are important, you know, heart's important, all these other things.
Right.
But the brain is sort of the computer that controls every other organ, and it gives us the personality. It gives us the ability to have this conversation and talk to each other and even think about what we're doing here.
Right.
So growing up, I always wanted to do neuro something, and I held steadfast to that. I was very interested in the mind and body connection. So I was first actually interested in psychiatry, which is very different from what I do now.
Really?
And then it transitioned into more neurology or neuroscience, because there's an overlap there, obviously, because it's a spectrum from the way you feel and the way you think. And then I continued, and through med school, I was steadfast about that. And when I finished med school, I actually applied to both neurology and neurosurgery residencies, which is not recommended and not a common thing to do, because they attract very different personalities and are a different competitiveness and different personalities. But I did it because, you know what, sometimes you just got to go with your gut and do what you want to do, in spite of taking advice, but also taking advice with a grain of salt and making your own path.
Right.
So I interviewed with both, and then I found this program where it was
this is gonna be
great. It was a physician scientist track at Georgetown and the National Institutes of Health, or the NIH, which has become very popular culturally because of post-COVID. Everybody knows what NIH is, but it's like a research institution, Disney World for nerds. You know, you can do anything, you can do the craziest things, and it's an amazing place.
Right.
So there was the first year that they had this track where you could do part of your training at, in the hospital, obviously at Georgetown, and also do a lot of research at NIH. So I was like, I'm going to apply to this. And I didn't think I would get it because I'm an MD. I'm not an MD PhD. I'm not a very nerdy, I mean, inside, but I'm not an outwardly, I enjoy like normal things.
Yeah, you don't look like a nerd.
So I thought it was So
Okay.
so I thought I was just going along for the ride, that I wouldn't get picked because the other guys were more distinguished and older and we're all MD PhDs, and I was like, whatever, I'm just here to see the NH. And it was Christmas time and they had a gingerbread house thing going. I was like, all right.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think because of the idea I had, that they picked me. And at the time I actually was interested in either functional neurosurgery, which is putting, like, they do these things like deep brain stimulation for Parkinson's disease and movement disorders, but there's also a space for it in the neuropsychiatric, neurocognitive, neurobehavioral aspect of things, which is what I thought was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and that the only place to actually that could be feasible is probably at NH. So I got that position. I was very excited. I worked in a lab that did. I actually did neurology residency,
Mm-hmm.
and then I was learning how to use this non-invasive technology, not necessarily drilling in the brain and putting in like devices or anything like that,
Which you
but
can also do.
yeah, but like non-invasively, to just change like the electromagnetism of the brain, the
Mm.
way the brain can, like, it was really, really cool. And I learned so much from all these really smart biomedical engineers and all these people that are like really good. I can't even do an Excel sheet myself. So I was just there as like the like, oh yes, this is fine.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was at Georgetown, then I would just go there for call. I was just there for like stroke call and whatever. And initially, a lot of people have apprehension with stroke because you have to think quickly, and it's anxiety provoking.
Mm.
But once you get used to it, I loved it.
Right.
And then we had a neuro interventionalist. It goes by neuroendovascular surgeon, neurointerventional surgeon, interventional neurologist, endovascular. There's like 10 names for the same thing. It's brain plumbing.
Right.
That's what it is. But I saw what he was doing, and that was the year in 2015 where all of these studies were coming out about the benefits of mechanical thrombectomy, which is the surgery where we go in the brain and remove the clot that's causing a stroke.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the year where all these amazing like landmark studies were coming out. And we're like, oh shit, this is awesome. And I was like, you know what? I love using my hands. I like the surgical aspect of things. I procedural aspect of things. I like drawing and painting and all these things
Right.
and detail. So I was like, you know what? Let's go. So then it was a bit of a, not a total career shift, but it was a shift and a different, because I was going to stay at NIH and do research in, neurocognitive stuff. And then I was like, you know what? I'm going to be a brain plumber. And I found this, fellowship that was a really cool fellowship, which is post residency subspecialty training.
Mm-hmm.
It was the only one in the country, but it's a real small program. But you know what? Sometimes there's diamonds in the rough, and that was a sparkling diamond in the rough,
Wow.
where it was a combined fellowship of stroke fellowship, neurocritical care or neuro ICU fellowship, and then endovascular surgical neuroradiology fellowship. And it was 4 years after residency. And then after that, I was like, you know what? I can do the brain plumbing, but I also have like a affinity for the human side of things, because before all this brain plumbing stuff, I was thinking with the heart and with, helping people with psychiatric disorders or behavioral disorders and making them better. So like, then it allows a certain level of empathy that is in addition to the, just the in and out and the very surgical cold stuff, when you understand the human condition a bit more and appreciate that. So
Right.
so yeah, and then I came down to Vero Beach because they're to help build the stroke program here and to just live life and do life, which obviously is happening here.
Right. Right. And it wasn't difficult for you to like, because you keep calling it like brain plumbing and stuff, but the brain is very complex. It's a lot of pathways and stuff going
Yeah.
on in there. Do do you get nervous before surgery?
Well, a few days before, if it's a major one and something I haven't done, and I have a little bit of not nervousness, but like realizing that you're dealing with somebody's life.
Mm-hmm.
And the worst thing that I think a person in general or somebody who does this is to be too sure of yourself, because we all make mistakes. We're dealing with people's lives, and being too proud and being too cocky and having a big ego is one of the pitfalls that actually leads to more harm than good.
I definitely agree
So
with that.
so when it comes to like the day-to-day like angiograms, which is look just, kind of like a diagnostic, let's look and see, but nothing actually happening. Those I'm not nervous about. I'm excited about. And with strokes, those happen within, I mean, time is brain. You do that in a few minutes. There's no time to be nervous. It's like, let's go,
Right.
and then that's it. And those I'm not nervous about. But when it comes to other things like somebody with an aneurysm that is not even ruptured, but we're just trying to prevent something from happening, or something more rare, I like to discuss like what approach to take with colleagues, and really think about it, and almost overthink it, because you know what, I think of my patients like they're my family, and I want to do the best for them, and sometimes that means not doing anything, because just because you can does not mean you should, and I feel like that's a huge thing, not just in this sphere of thing, but or small sphere, but in life.
Just
Like,
in general.
you can do a lot of things, but sometimes taking a step back and saying, why am I doing this? Am I doing it for the right reasons? Is this person going to benefit, or is this just something to say you did, and then they're not going to end up any better than they were? So
Right.
a lot of it is just realizing that we're human, we're imperfect, and we need to be mindful of the reasons we do things, if we should do things, and treating everybody like family.
That was very beautifully put.
Mm-hmm.
What's the most technically difficult surgery you've ever done? And like, what was going through your mind when you were
Ooh.
doing it?
So I think one of the most challenging is so there's these like blood vessel tumors. They're called AVMs, or arteriovenous malformations.
Blood vessel tumors.
Yeah, that's a way to sort of picture it. It's a ball of blood vessels, like
Right.
arteries and veins. And it's an abnormal connection of the arteries, which is like the spewy, red, squirty blood you see in a horror movie when somebody like,
Yeah.
or the vein blood, which is that nasty stuff that clots when you get your blood taken at the doctor's office. So sometimes
So there's
those,
two different types of blood?
yeah, well, like not different types of blood, but they have different amounts of oxygen and nutrients, so they are just different color. They clot differently. They just act differently.
Okay.
So there's an abnormal connection between those arteries and those veins. You okay, honey? She's like, oh yeah.
Yeah, no,
I was, oh my God, I was pregnant this. Yes. So the most difficult thing that I've done is so it's the AVM surgery, where sometimes you can, when the AVM is small, sometimes you can completely cure it in this minimally invasive plumbing way. However, when it's larger, sometimes you have to treat it with the what we call embolization, which is taking out the main blood vessels that are the problem, and then it has to be openly surgically resected, and that's the standard of care as far as getting it removed.
Okay.
And doing that is hard, because you have to. It's almost like there's not 100, but there's dozens of arteries going here and there. The brain is like a tree of life. There's a main branch, a main trunk, and then it branches off into like hundreds and thousands of different blood vessels. So it literally looks like that, and it's just very difficult to say, where am I going to go? And if I go there and I block that off, is it going to cause more harm than good?
Right.
And the first one I did as an attending, I was actually pregnant. And I didn't even know it. And I spent, hours and hours and hours and hours under radiation. But she turned out great. She's extra shiny. She's extra shiny. She's glowing.
she does not glow in the dark.
Well, she has a little glow. Yeah, we all have a little glow.
Yeah, we
It's
all
from
got a
the-
little glow.
But that's the most. And yes, that is, to me, that's in my short career, and there's a lot more to learn, a lot more to do, a lot more to go. I'm sure there will be more challenging cases, but that was the most challenging, especially because once you're after residency and fellowship, you're on your own. I feel like Dr. Little Doogie Howser, because everybody thinks I'm like 16 years old and I'm like a candy striper, and I'm not even the physician. When I come in, they're like, "Hey guys, it's me," and they're like, is this like a joke?
Right.
So for me, that whole thing too, and then having to take that responsibility on your own and own it is challenging, because you want to do the best for somebody.
Yeah, that kind of leads me to another question, like, because Philip was kind of telling me something about it, like, when you walk into the room and you're like the head brain surgeon in the room, what's the best way I can ask this? Do you think they're surprised because you're a woman, you're like a attractive, respectfully blonde woman? Do you sense like them being like not taking you serious because you're not like
I'm not
what
a distinguished man with a little bit of white hair. Distinguished
Exactly.
6 foot tall white man with a little bit of a gray coming in the beard.
Exactly.
Yes. But I actually have found it. Sometimes it's frustrating because if I'm at home and I'm trying to just live my life and I get called at 2 in the morning to do something, and patients are like, "Hold up, how old are you? How many of these have you done? You're a woman. I'm not used to this. I'm old fashioned." Then sometimes I'm like, guys, there's no other option. Sorry. But
how can you insult the person that is about to?
but no, I try to put I try to put myself in their shoes if I was a different mindset.
Okay.
But honestly, you know what is nice about it is they're about, I would say, about more maybe 2 out of 3 times
Mm-hmm.
I get a look of like, what's happening,
Is this
especially in an
DEI hire
yes,
right here?
yes, especially in like an emergency where it's not like they have a visits plan and they can look somebody up and see. In an emergency, it's just it's all, nobody has time for that, so you're basing it on your preconceived notions about people.
Exactly.
So sometimes they will first look at, some people will blatantly ask me, "How old are you? How many of these have you done?" I'm sorry, but I don't like. I don't know if this sounds bad or this is discriminatory, but I just don't. It's it's a very sort of concern, right?
Mm-hmm.
But one of the nicest things is when you have to earn people's trust and respect,
Right.
because sometimes you can be anybody and just show up in a white coat, and just because you look a certain way and talk a certain way, people will just give you that respect and trust, and you have to, it's your job to maintain that or to destroy that, right?
Right.
But when you don't have that and you have to earn it, like there's so many times where they look at me like, what the fuck? And I go on, and then I come out like, hey, everything went great, and all of a sudden their husband or wife or daughter or son or mom or dad is like walking, talking, like what's going, they're like, they're obviously so happy,
But they're
and
relieved that
and then they're like, you know what, I need to rethink how I think, which is it goes to say for a lot of things in life, especially now.
right.
But then like, you know what, they didn't trust me at first, but you better believe, even when I was on maternity leave, some of my patients were coming to follow up and they're like, I'd rather wait. I'm waiting for Dr. Farah to come from maternity leave. She's my friend and I trust her. And like, then you have that trust because you actually earned it as an individual based on your merit, and not because you looked like, whatever that Dr. Dreamy from.
If I were walk in, right?
If it were Philip,
If it were me to walk in,
Mhm.
and like we jokingly we talked about like having a social experiment,
Right.
with this, right? Where I just walk in a I don't know, in scrubs, and she has her Dr. Farah stuff on there, and we'll just walk in, and I just say, yeah, your Jersey artery is your Jersey artery is separated from your shoe thing, whatever. And then they were like, "Oh yes, doctor, yes, Doctor Wolf." Right? It's and it's. I mean, I am like, I couldn't be more proud of my wife, right? I mean,
Right.
like that woman saves, like she hates when I use it, but she's a hero. Like she does that because we when we go out, when we're around town, we meet a lot of her patients, right? And these people are so grateful, and they're so, well, they're good. They're good. They had a stroke. They got into the hospital. 2 days later, they walk out.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
that's I mean, that's the best case.
Yeah, the best case scenario.
Right? And I think, and that's what I love about her so much. Like that woman is all about merit, right? And there's nothing that can. I find it hard that people are actually questioning her abilities to do so, right? And
Yeah.
it's it rubs me the wrong way sometimes, to be
Mhm.
quite honest with you, because if you have a stroke around this area in Florida, and you want my wife to
She's
be
the
on
one
call.
you want.
You want my wife to be on call. right? Because that is your best outcome
Right.
if you have that, right? And I mean the woman in the meanwhile, while she does all that, she which we talked a little about is our company Brain Theory, right?
Mm-hmm.
She develops things, and sometimes at 3 o'clock in the morning I get woken up, and she's like, "Honey, honey, honey, honey." I'm like, "Yeah, what's going on? I figured out this, how to do this, and how to do this." And I'm like, "Okay, I didn't understand a word you just said."
Right.
You know, it's like me talking about avionics.
Right.
But it's just incredible, and I would love, and I'm pretty sure. I mean, my wife is unique, but I'm pretty sure there's other professions and things where people struggle with these kind of things.
Right.
Right. Like I said, if I would walk in, nobody would question, even if I don't know jack. Right. With the deep voice, like I said, like your jersey artery separated from your ankle, you know,
Right,
and
right,
then people
right.
would be like, "Oh, that's horrible." Like, yeah, it did. Right, exactly. I was like, "Sorry, we just have to put your foot and
your-
say put it to your head or something like
Or
that,
in your
right?"
butt or
And
something.
it's. I said I would really love to do this social experiment, right?
Right.
And I mean, we talked about it over the last couple of days a little bit with all the DI hiring and all of these things that's been going on, which is just I think it's just a shame, right? Like, hire the most qualified person for the job.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, like these days you can probably blame that on DEI because
Right.
a lot of people, even in fields where that should be totally left out,
Pilots.
are pilots.
Pilots.
They're pushed through,
Physicians.
and they're not qualified just to fill
Right.
like the quota, the race or the
I mean,
sex quota.
we have a major airline that has done that in the U.S., right?
Yeah.
Where they're like, hey, we need to fill a quota. We need to have a certain amount of people from the same race and also female or other.
Some other group or
right,
whatever,
whatever
you know.
group they call them.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I mean, I'm still trying to keep it PC a little bit, so it's really hard for me to keep
know this is a new thing for you.
keep that.
You know what I've been doing? I've been looking at him and my pupils dilate and I look at him. I
Yeah.
don't stop. And he like, I'm like, don't do it.
You wouldn't believe how many times I get kicked underneath the table.
I can imagine.
Protect him, you know. I
Right.
don't want,
I can imagine.
But it's just a shame. Like, and they did that, and they didn't hire the most qualified people for the job.
Right.
They hired the people that fit into that DEI profile.
Yeah, we talked about one case with the all-female.
With the all-female crew,
right?
with that. Yeah, I mean, she sat that airplane down so hard, and I'm pretty sure everybody has known about this. And the airplane sits down, the landing gear breaks off, the airplane rolls to the right, the wing breaks off, and it slides inverted down
Jesus
down the runway. And I mean, thank God, you know, it was snowy, it was cold, and if that would have happened on a hot day in Florida, Arizona, Nevada, or even California, that thing would have just probably bursted in a fireball. I mean, I'm I don't work for the NTSB or for the FAA, but that is just my own unqualified opinion. And that was a whole, like, they prouted themselves, like, oh, we're an all-female crew, we're an all of these things. I'm not saying that, the 65-year-old white guy wouldn't have done the same thing, but I talk to a lot of pilots every single day, right? And I'm pretty sure a lot of people made that experience when they get into a cockpit, and they get on an airplane, and that there's this 60-year-old white dude with the gray hair. For me, I mean, could be also a black person in that age, right, with the gray hair or something.
As long as they got the experience.
Exactly, and you have some of these pilots. I mean, these guys fly 15, 16, 17,000 hours, right? I mean, that is, that's comforting.
Right.
I'm sorry, right? I mean, you have guys like Sully that land a plane on the Hudson, right, and nobody gets hurt, and it is. For me, like, if DEI back then wouldn't have been a case, a lot of people might have died, right? So
Right.
especially when you have the responsibility, like, you know, the brain plumber, or a pilot, right? That you want somebody with experience because you have these lives in your hands.
Yeah,
right?
it's life when it's life and death.
Exactly.
Leave the DEI thing
Right.
out because people should be qualified, you know. And if you know, and it's not to keep other groups out, you know.
Absolutely not, no.
They just need to be qualified and
Mm-hmm.
not be pushed forward just because of some, you know, equity and inclusion
Right.
program. Because you said like two of the pilots that were in charge on that flight only had like
Low
a few
hours.
hundred hours of
Yeah,
flying.
a
and
couple
stuff.
thousand or something. I actually would have to. I don't want to put my foot in my mouth. I actually would have to look at the NTSB report.
Okay.
That might be, you know, a little catch up later to that. But
Yeah.
I mean, these are things that all need to be put in consideration, right? Because flying is still the safest way to travel. Personally, I rather travel in a helicopter than on
Is
an
flying
airplane.
the safest way to travel? And what makes you say that? It sounds a
Well,
little outrageous to a lot of people, I think.
Well, like I said, I have this. I got from an Air Force colonel. He sent me actually this. He was an MH-53 pilot, and he sent me this quote that said, "Helicopter, thousands of parts flying around an oil leak, waiting for metal fatigue to set in."
Oh wow, that sounds so
Which
comforting.
is it's just a joke. But at the end of the day, right? If I have, flying commercial is the safest way to travel, right? If you look at it, the problem is when something happens and there's fatalities, that a lot of people just die, right?
Right,
Like
right.
It's just immediately somewhere between 80 and 300 people dead, right? That just like spikes that thing. And I mean, then you have miracles happen, like what just happened with Air India, right? Where that one guy in C11 or something, like, walked away from that horrific crash. But
I don't know about that. Like one person.
one person
survived?
survived in that 787 Dreamliner accident. And I mean, I'm looking at this almost every day. I'm looking at instances where plane crashes especially, I mean, I'm looking more at the rotorcraft type of things. And with helicopters, 99.9% of accidents are related to pilot failure.
Okay.
Or pilot error. And the cool thing is, or not, well, yeah, it is a cool thing. If I have an engine failure in this R44 behind us,
Right.
I can just land as you have to put emergency procedures in, but
But it's not just gonna stop spinning when the
no,
engine
my
goes
God,
off.
no. There's something that we call auto rotation, right? Where I'm not gonna get into too much detail because like the
Yeah, simple. Break it down
right.
in the simplest
Yeah, no. So
way you
your
can.
rotors keep on spinning. You as the pilot have the responsibility to engage emergency procedures. We put our collective down. We control with our cyclic. We control the rotor RPMs of the rotor system.
Okay.
And if anyone ever just put it in YouTube, auto rotation. It's the coolest thing to see, and you can just literally land that aircraft in somebody's backyard, right?
Right.
With a plane, I need a runway.
Exactly.
I need a lot of space to do that, and especially in general aviation, where everybody's flying around their Cessna 172s and 175s and Robinson R44s. The most accidents happen at takeoff and landing. 80% of accidents happen that. So it's aviation is a absolute cool industry to be in.
Right.
And you experienced that. That was one of the coolest
It was
things
one
you
of the
can
coolest things
do,
ever,
right?
man.
And it's you can't replace pilots. It's I know a lot of people, when we do that, and they're like, "Oh, what do you fly? You fly?" I was like, "No, we're real pilots, right? Because we're helicopter pilots." Which I don't want to offend any of the fixed wing pilots, because I know a lot of great ones, and these guys are heroes of the skies, and I mean they they have so much responsibility, and
They
it
do.
is that I find absolutely incredible. And a lot of people, there's always, planes nowadays fly themselves. Yes and no, right? Like you need these two people in there.
Yeah, like you
And-
need somebody who's had experience to monitor everything.
To
and
monitor
somebody to
everything.
fly.
And I mean, everybody that ever has taken a look in a cockpit, right?
So much shit going on
There's
in
so
there.
much shit going on in there, right? If you look at our console here in the R44, that's, compared to an airliner or other aircraft, it's nothing, right? But there's so many procedures in place that you, just a pre-flight checklist has 3 pages for this. So we make sure that we don't fall out of the sky.
Yeah.
Or
I'm glad it has 3
we don't have.
pages.
We talked about mass bumping a little bit yesterday when put too much inputs, and you saw that yesterday. We make very tiny, small little inputs.
Right.
And that which in airplanes. People rip that thing around. If we do that, our rotor system, since it's underslung here in this case, because it, goes like this. Oh my goodness! Oh my God, daughter, what are you doing? You can have something like that's called mass bumping, and if you put too much of an input in, or you have a low G pushover, and your rotor system literally eats itself. It hits the mast on top, and then it will literally cut off your tail boom from your helicopter.
Jesus.
And then your tail separates from your helicopter, and your main rotor also probably separates from the aircraft. But
sounds
it's all
terrifying.
yes. It's not something that you want to experience, but that's where you need the experienced pilot that knows what type of aircraft he's flying and knows. It's all about limitations, right?
Right.
It's not that you. I know pilots, with over 7,000 hours in Blackhawks and stuff. Like you met Nelson, he flew with us, so. And that guy, he was fully inverted in Blackhawks, and he does barrel rolls and
Crazy.
and
I'm not going on that flight.
well, it's like everybody knows about like the best example for that is the Red Bull helicopter.
Yeah,
right.
They do all kind of crazy tricks.
Right,
and
that is
stuff.
a Messerschmitt BO 105, and Messerschmitt, yeah, and you can do whatever the fuck you want with that aircraft. Like I said, that guy flies that thing fully inverted, upside down, left and right.
Right.
If I try anything like that with this,
over
it will just disintegrate. Like you're gonna be toast, right? It's all about limitations, but. At the end of the day, and that's what my wife also says. Like, don't do like. Is it really necessary? Do I have to do this? Will this benefit from anything? And that is, yeah.
But what made you even want to get into like flying and learning how to fly a helicopter? Childhood dream. It was thankfully having a wife that you know me. I've been in the luxury car business for almost 2 decades, and it's it made me sick. It was a lot. It's was not healthy for me anymore. It's Really?
no
Stressful job?
It's just stressful. You have 100,000 hours a week that you work, and you make a lot of money, but. Farah was actually the one that said, "Yeah, no, you're done, buddy." with the car business.
I just wanted him to do what he wanted to do and have the opportunity to do that. It doesn't matter what it was particularly.
But you didn't like how it was stressing them out?
I actually met him. I met him after he was already done with that.
Oh, okay.
I met him after that. I just said, just do what you actually want to do as a person and take the time to figure that out.
That's all you can ask for in a way.
Yeah, I'm the luckiest man alive when it comes to that. I mean, I have the most beautiful wife, the most beautiful baby, and then the brain plumber too. And she's and I'm we know each other for 15, 16, 17. We know each other for forever, and I'm also an idiot, right?
Right.
So certified idiot. And,
If you say so.
I'm a woman of few words sometimes, but
I agree with that statement.
Yeah. But like thank God for Farah. I mean, she makes me a better man every day, and I didn't think that I would ever find a woman that could do that, and also like settle me down, right? And just tells me like, hey, Wolf, shut the fuck up, sit your ass down. You know, it's enough, and I'm super happy that she does that, and that also gives me the freedom and the opportunity and the headspace to be a good pilot, right? And not, and just live my dream right now, and that is. I mean, I love my wife more than I love myself, and it's for that I'm just grateful for every day. And if I need to be calmed, she's there, or I'll whirl up and down the coast a little bit.
Right.
And it's it's just like being a pilot is just it's always been my dream. And I mean, show me one dude that does not look up in the sky when there's a helicopter flying.
Right. Everybody loves at least seeing a helicopter. Some people might be too scared to get in there, which I think is stupid. Like, I wanted to bring my other friend out here to, to Florida to meet you and everything like that. And as soon as you mentioned the helicopter, he was like, he's black or whatever.
He's black or whatever.
My people are afraid of flying, I'll say that. So Philip doesn't have to say it. And he was out, you know what I'm saying? And I think he missed out on a great opportunity to fly and, see what I saw when we was up there,
Right. I mean, not a lot of people get to see that, because we saw that at between 200 and 500 feet, right? So we flew very low, so you can actually see stuff. And I mean, if you fly over the coast here in Florida now, there's thousands of what do you call them? Turtles out there, and you can see them. You can see stingrays in our river being there. We saw alligators yesterday from up there between the cows and stuff like that in the little ponds. And Tommy was like, how do you know if there's an alligator in there? And I was like, if you touch it and it's wet, there's an alligator in there in Florida. So, but no, I'm glad. I mean, we haven't seen each other in almost a decade now.
Yeah, it's been a long time, man.
Yeah, I mean, I'm 8 years in the States now, 7, and we haven't seen each other before that in a minute either, because I was also. Where the fuck was I? I don't even remember where I lived. But no, I'm glad you came out and you got to experience that and meet the family. We would have been super happy if your wife would have made it and the kids.
Next time.
I've
been sending her everything we've been doing, and she regrets not coming. So next time I'm bringing the whole.
No, and I'm glad I got the opportunity, to fly up there to Orlando and pick you up, and we had a nice little 50-minute flight, and we have and you get to see like what all we got going on. And I mean, Farah with her Farah Science, and we're building another company at the moment as well, which takes up a lot of our time. And brain theory number 12.
Yeah, let's talk about that. Brain theory number 12. What exactly?
Well, I'm the guy, right, that sits in the dark office, and crunches numbers. Then we have, I mean, Farah can talk about this because it's actual real science.
Right.
And there's it's a nootropic, and there's a lot of supplements out there nowadays, like that people develop, right, and then have a physician promote it. But what we do in this is developed by the neuroendovascular surgeon, and dose optimized. And it's not one of those things like, oh, here's brain health, 2 ingredients, magnesium and vitamin C. Great.
Wow.
Or other companies, I'm not going to say any names. Oh, we have the same formula for 25 years. And like, oh, so science hasn't improved in 25 years, right? But yeah, no, I'm gonna let Farah talk about this, because I mean, she's the brains and the face and the everything about that. And is it
She's just waiting on you to pass the mic.
Right.
Like doing
this. I know. She looks like she even starts falling asleep. Hold on. Here.
One hand.
Yeah, no, I got it. Come here, Stinky. Oh.
She
made pooped.
she pooped real bad there.
So,
Yeah.
brain theory, it's a supplement, right?
Mhm.
Can break it down in the simplest way you can.
Okay, I can do that.
Okay.
Oh, she wants to be
I'm gonna
carried.
excuse myself.
Go ahead.
I also wanted, after we talk about brain theory, mention my opinion on the DEI stuff a little bit.
Okay.
After. But yes. No, Philip.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's too much. So just from the beginning. So we all age from the day we're born.
Right.
And I'm a strong believer that aging is not a disease. Just because you're old doesn't mean your memory's shot and you can't do this and you can't do that. I think aging is a process in which we can sort of not necessarily control completely. Should I be quiet or let the plane go?
No, I can get that out in the post.
So I think that we can change the way we age. We can age better or we can age worse. There's actually twin studies out there where identical twins are raised in a different environment, nature nurture kind of thing, and they age differently, both biologically, like from a chronic disease standpoint, and physically, from just looking old and ratchet.
Wow. Okay.
And we can change that. So given that the brain is my area of interest, that's what I focused on. So when I was in my residency, I had some downtime sometimes when I was at NIH, and I took that time to really look into the like molecular level reasons we age.
Okay.
And there's a dozen or so reasons. From like brain atrophy, which is shrinkage, just like your muscles shrink, your brain shrinks. There's redox stress, which is all the oxidative stress. There's telomeres, there's gut-brain axis, there's inflammation, there's a ton of things.
Right.
And a lot of times really smart people often are very like on the spectrum, and they play alone in the sandbox. So they study for 30 years this thing, and they think this is the way all be all. Don't necessarily produce something that then is something viable for the general public, but like some like proving a point or proving a hypothesis or a theory.
Right.
And then that's that. And then those group of scientists talk among themselves and then publish research, which is amazing. But also, what does it do for people?
Mm-hmm.
And then you have like you have non-scientists then taking that information and diluting it in such a way that it's not even what it's meant to be anymore.
Okay.
So not that I'm the gym bros with their neuro supplements. So and I'm by no means an expert, but you know what? At least I mindfully, thoughtfully took the time to think of something that will work to a degree, a realistic degree.
Okay.
So a nootropic is something that enhances your cognition, like your ability to think, your memory, your ability to learn, your attention, and all these things. Adaptogen is something that improves your mood, your sleep, your attitude, your stress, and all those things. So it's an adaptogen and a nootropic together.
Okay.
So people like when we beta tested it, people felt those immediate benefits, those short-term benefits, and they were like, "Oh man!" From like the 18-year-old in college, or the medical student who's like, "Man, I got off my Adderall and I'm studying way better and I'm doing great," or the 80-year-old person with dementia who's like, "Grandma's doctor said they noticed substantial change," and I was like, "Oh shit!"
Oh wow.
So, but that's not the goal, right? The goal is not short-term. We are such a culture of immediate gratification.
Oh man.
And I'm one to like play the long game, see the forest beyond the trees, because I think that's how you really make. I think that's where you really are rooted and safe in your happy place.
Yeah.
Not just,
sure.
"Oh, this feels good. Oh yeah, and I'm done," and then I feel empty again.
Mm-hmm.
So you may feel that, but it's more like that longitudinal, like you're taking a multivitamin for your brain to change the trajectory in which you age. So maybe if you did all whatever, I'm not gonna use a bad word, whatever nonsense you do, you age kind of like this, but the goal is you change a little bit, age like this, right? You're still going to age. Things will still happen. The circle of life is the circle of life.
Yeah.
But to do so in much more of a graceful way. So that's the concept. And it's called Brain Theory number 12. There's 12 ingredients and then the 12 hypotheses on how
Okay.
you age.
I was gonna ask why the number 12.
So when you put hypotheses together that really have been tried and true, then that becomes a theory, like the theory of relativity or the theory of something that we almost know to be a fact,
Mm-hmm.
you know? And then and I actually when I was in residency, I knew I would be busy and I knew I wouldn't be able to launch this until a few years later now.
Yeah.
So I wrote a patent for it, which was hard because I didn't use a lawyer because I'm cheap and I didn't know what I was doing because writing a patent is not just writing like a paper. It's like very legal terminology, certain
Okay.
things. So I
She
wrote
wrote that thing herself.
Wow.
I
okay.
wrote the patent, and still patent pending because it takes years for a patent to sort of get approved. But it
Okay.
was a really cool process, just to protect the intellectual property because you never know in the future who's coming up with what.
Yeah.
So now we're getting ready to launch Brain Theory number 12 in the next couple of months, likely early next year, and go from there. And I feel like it's not just when I was like, where is this gonna go, right? Because it's not about a brain supplement that it will make a difference and be impactful, but it's about what's the down the road.
Right.
So I am and also a neurocritical care doctor, which means like an ICU doctor. I don't practice it that much, but I am an ICU doctor, so I'm familiar with all the different organs besides the brain.
Okay.
So
Jesus, are
some
you a
of which
genius or something?
no, not at all. Yeah, I can't even. Sometimes you would be shocked. I'm looking. I like poured. I think I poured milk on a closed thing yesterday. No, I am.
My favorite Farah. My favorite Farah is the 12-year-old Farah. That's
I get excited. I have childhood wonder about everything.
Yeah.
Like, I'm
Okay.
ridiculous.
That's great.
Like there's when we're out with friends with kids, let's say we're out on the sandbar with the boat and stuff like that. And the kids are somewhere around 10, 12, and Farah is the one, and my God, I love when you do that. And she sits there and builds sandcastles with the 12-year-olds, and she's more engaged than the 12-year-olds.
Yeah,
Wow.
I'm paying more attention because they just
Right.
focus in there. And I'm like, no, the point. We have to build like I'm like, what's going on? The castle's falling apart. Your infrastructure is terrible. What the-
They're probably like,
but-
shit, it's not brain plumbing. We're just building the
No, and I
castle.
get excited because like I feel like that's what inspired. It's like the wonder about the world of things you can discover, keeping an open mind and just reaching sometimes because you really never know.
Yeah, you never know.
So the next steps would be to develop skin theory and gut theory because the skin and the brain are developed from the same sort of embryonic tissue, make the sort of same primordial soup.
Really?
Yeah. So sort of skin anti-aging, and then for the gut, because the gut and brain we know is deeply connected. So develop that. And then from there, gain a presence and influence, and then develop an institute, like whatever it may be called, whether that's Brain Theory Institute or something else, but an institute that's like sort of like a purist way of treating brain diseases, helping the aging process, both from like a non-invasive way and even like brain. I was even thinking, man, you know what would be a great way to use some brain plumbing? Not just plumbing to take clots out, but plumbing to develop to deliver stem cells or to deliver neuroprotective things. Like it's such a open space.
Mhm.
With the stem cells.
And yes, no, they'll be like they're adult self cells, so none of this weird,
Right.
like ethically sound.
Ethically.
No, ethically sound stuff.
Right.
But really
Glad you pointed that out.
really to make it like a place for innovation, like thought leadership, philanthropy, education, and really making something that's doesn't have all of those other things that the medical or healthcare system has that make it so difficult, like the pharmaceutical industry and insurance and all of these things that and administrative things that make things so challenging just to do basic stuff. This is, I would hope in the future to be a way in which to circumvent all of those things.
Get rid of the red tape.
Get rid of the red tape and just do what's right. And then, it may take a long time, but eventually maybe this little one will either be I don't know, maybe she'll be doing.
Maybe she'll follow in mommy.
Maybe she'll whatever.
I hope so.
Whatever she does. I mean, I just think that it's something that would leave a little small mark. Cause I think I'm also a believer in that we are like, I think people get really way ahead of themselves and get a big head. And I just can't stand that stuff. And I feel like it's almost like Carl Sagan's A Pale Blue Dot. I don't know if you ever read that Carl Sagan's like an astronomer and he passed away. I think he passed away, but he's an amazing, like genius guy, but also realized his small place in the world. When you think about like how important we make ourselves, but if you read that passage, I think everybody should read it. Gives you such perspective, no matter where you lie on that spectrum. But
right.
It's like leaving a small mark that's actually meaningful, not just self-absorbed nonsense
Posting
bullshit.
BBL pics on Instagram and stuff.
Listen, it's gonna be a drop in the bucket.
Everything's a drop.
It's gonna be our little drop.
Yeah, a little a drop in the bucket to
From
make
what you're
it
saying,
to
it's
make it a bit
gonna
better.
Be pretty meaningful.
Yeah.
I mean, if we have to, you know, we're lucky enough that we're lucky enough that we've worked hard and we've came to a point where we can give back, right? And that is a big part of my wife and myself. You see, she's sitting in poop.
We need a
like I
diaper
said,
change break or something. Not to cut you off, Phil, but if she's gonna be upset, we could just take a little.
You want to
10
change
minute...
her really quick? Oh, yeah.
Okay.
She cares because she mind.
Okay. The one.
the worst.
Okay. Yeah, when you
Okay.
come back, we can pivot back to the DEI stuff.
Do you want me to get her out for you? Oh my.
All right.
Here, I'll take this.
And you just do your thing.
Yeah, it's all good.
Let me.
I can cut that little part out.
On the hood of the car? Did you see her slamming that thing on the hood of the car?
On the Range Rover.
No, but it's you know, I mean, I'm an immigrant over here. I mean, my wife's from Haiti, right? And it is always like America has been really good to us. I mean, my wife comes from absolutely nothing. When I came here, I lived in a 1995 Fleetwood Pace Arrow, and you know, washed RVs and laid out grass and did gardening and all these things. Yeah, we're just happy where we are, and it is just time to give back, and we want to give that part back, right? And I think you can still, like, we're living the American dream, literally. We are. So especially with the institute and everything that's going to follow on all of these things. It's just going to benefit so many people. It's going to help so many people, and because there's always somebody that can't afford the brain surgery they need,
right?
And then things like that, right? Or they can't afford getting airlifted somewhere. They can't afford to, you know, in any of these things. So
right.
And that's what we're focusing on, and it's also, I mean, it's great for us. Like I said earlier, it's a drop in the bucket, but it's our drop in the bucket, and we hope that we can make an impact and make a difference in people's lives that just also deserve that. Having that meaningful impact in their lives. And I mean, my wife does it literally twice a day, probably. So
that is crazy.
Yeah.
She's a hero, man.
She is.
And she went as far as to develop, like, what I got from, I know you can't speak to the technical aspect of the medicine.
I can, but
what I got from it is that it's not just, it doesn't just help you think better. Like, it's not just a short-term thing, but
no. It's like
it helps with your, it sounds like you can help.
You can change the trajectory in which you age.
Yeah, and it sounds like you can prevent, like, maybe Alzheimer's and like stuff like that.
I wouldn't, well, that hasn't
or give you a better chance of not developing it, maybe.
That we haven't, like, that hasn't been tested, right? At the end of the day, it's a supplement. It's not,
right.
But I think everybody should take it, right? If you have anxiety, if you have PTSD, if you have any of these things, right? Or if you're having trouble studying, learning, right? All of these things, and it's overall good for your body. It's just overall good. If your brain's healthy, normally the rest of your body is healthy too, right? And if you can, especially, you know, as much as I like drinking, and it just helps. It's just overall good for you. And I mean, just with as much work and everything that Farah has put in it, and it's we're getting into production here again soon, and it's gonna be amazing. It's gonna help a lot of people. It's gonna help a lot of people.
That's amazing, man. Because like you said, it's not like the ingredients in it aren't something.
Careful, honey.
Yeah. The ingredients in it aren't something that you need a prescription for or something like that.
It is, yeah. No, it's like they're carefully sourced.
Yeah. So the ingredients are, you know, there's a lot of things that we take as just placebo effect. Like there's a lot of cool.
Well, can we just acknowledge that the baby's naked?
The baby's naked. I mean, she's sweaty, she's full of poop, and she's. If we could all just be in a diaper.
I know, right?
Oh God.
We start life and end life, but hopefully not end life like that. Die with dignity. That's.
Especially in Florida. Never wear.
Yeah, but with the ingredients, the idea is that it's not just a trending, you know, antioxidant or whatever. It's very much like an example would be, let's say saffron, which is very, very, very good for cognitive health. And a lot of cultures use a lot of saffron in their cooking, and they age better. They have less chronic disease and all that.
Really?
But they have it over a lifetime, you know, in their food, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it just builds up cumulatively and whatever. And that takes years and generations, right?
Mm-hmm.
But when you have saffron, it there's different derivatives of it. You have the main mother thing, but then when you break it down, some make it from mouth to butt, some make it from mouth to body. Very few things make it from mouth to brain.
What do you mean mouth to butt?
Yeah, like you or pee or poop. So let's say you like with saffron, there's there's different derivatives. There's saffronol, there's crocin, and then there's crocetine.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say saffronol and crocin, you take, you know, and you take some saffron supplements or something like that, and you ingest. You might pee it out. Hence why a lot of multivitamins make your pee like neon yellow,
Super
right?
yellow
You're just
and
peeing
stinky.
it out, you know.
Yeah.
And then sometimes they're absorbed by the gut and go into your bloodstream and they make some business elsewhere.
Only sometimes?
Sometimes, but like the crocetine is a specific, very hard to find derivative of saffron, which goes from the gut, from the mouth to the gut, and travels and is able to be absorbed in the brain. And all of these ingredients are really optimized to be the lowest dose possible, because more is not better.
Right.
And sometimes more actually has a paradoxical effect, a bad effect. And I know bigger is better in America, but no, less is more.
I've heard it's stated that too much of anything is poisonous.
Moderation
in everything is, if we could, you know what, a lot of things would be legal and people would be able to do a lot more if people could have some self-control,
right,
and then do things in moderation. People would be partying at the club till they're 50 if they could just get it together and not have like been nuts when they were 20. You know, like in moderation, you can really sustain and maintain and do so much, you know, and just in general.
Except for like crack or something.
Yeah, crack.
You shouldn't take any of that.
I mean, there's limits. It's right.
Also cracking.
I don't know, but not. I do not follow the recommendation of this young man. I am sorry.
Well, listen, we watched a couple reels this morning, right? I'm just on my phone from this Justin Nunley guy, and he comes on the camera. He's like, and there's this lady. What can white people cook best? And he comes around the corner. He's like, crack.
Oh, no, I think that's meth.
Yeah, he said meth.
It's meth.
Yeah.
It's meth. Yeah.
Crack would be black people.
Yes, he.
Yeah. But to get back to what you were saying.
So it's dose optimized and very mindfully thought of as the derivative of what the mother ingredient is, and it's taken at night because, in nighttime, if you think practically, that's when your brain recovers. Your brain actually clears all of the toxins and protein buildup that actually are associated with those neurodegenerative diseases that we have, like Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, and all these things. They're all proteinopathies, which is proteinopathy means disease. So they're disease of buildup of proteins, which we all have, but they're not properly broken down and properly excreted as waste from the brain. So they build up, and depending on what specific protein it is and where it builds in the brain is the neurological disease you will have, the Alzheimer's disease or whatever it may be.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So nighttime is when that happens, and that's when our brain consolidates memory and consolidates learning. It solidifies all of these things. So if you think, I'm surprised that nootropics or brain supplements in general aren't recommended to take at night, because that's when the brain is really healing itself. You know, so for me, I'm like, it's just thinking about all of these things in a way that not basing, like when I put this together, I didn't look at, to my mistake, you know, because there was some some issues with some of the ingredients and patents and things. I didn't even look at other supplements. I put together a theory. I'm like, well, this is pretty helpful, but it's useless. What am I going to do with it? Oh, let's make a supplement. Let's find a natural phytochemical or endogenous, meaning something naturally made in your body, to make something together that will. And then after, it was like playing Monday morning quarterback. I was like, oh, let's see what these other guys are doing. All right, well, you know, I wasn't like overly impressed, but I just tried. I was just creative.
Right.
And it, you know, I'm excited for it because I think it's real, realistic, transparent, science and good, because so many things are just so full of
And
shit.
it can
Full of shit.
and it can change a lot of people's life.
Right.
And that's what we're out for. To give other people maybe give them opportunities to be better, right?
Yeah.
And become better over time. So
Yeah.
it is that's why we're working so hard on all of these things. And I mean, sourcing these ingredients is not the
No,
easiest
no,
job
no.
on the planet.
Mm.
It's, we're talking about saffron, right? And where's saffron from? Pakistan,
Pakistan.
India, right?
Right.
So, and we want to make sure it's all going to be non-GMO, vegan, and all these things, right? And you need to find the correct facility that can facilitate what you need, and also so it goes with our oh, here I can
I
just
got
grab-
it. I got it.
Okay.
I got it. Oh, you just talk.
Okay.
Move your
Yeah.
lips.
Haha. Yeah. So we can Tanya.
What I mean, I'm just holding it.
Sorry.
No, it's see, that's what she does to me. She just helps me out all day. And just to make sure that we have the perfect product at the end of the day, right?
Right.
And it's also, like I said, I mentioned that earlier, like, oh, 25 years, same thing. Like, this is not who we are, right?
Mhm.
We're gonna constantly her.
Mhm.
Like I said, I'm only doing the business end of this, but with Farah, like, she is every day she's thinking of other things. And if the research gives us the opportunity to improve this formula,
Mhm.
we will, right?
Right.
And it's not that we're going to be stuck on this thing. No, if we have the opportunity to make it better
Mhm.
or develop something else, like I said, the skin theory and gut theory. And these kind of things, we will do that, and we're constantly working on these kind of things to improve everything, so we can help more people. We'll give people the opportunity to improve themselves.
Well said. May I add?
Go ahead.
But based on what Philip said, it really is like the idea is that it's a framework, because like the ways in which our body changes and we age, we understand those things. We're going to learn more in the future, but we understand those things are the foundations. You know, the brain shrinks. Well, yeah, no shit.
Right.
The gut and brain are connected. All right, yeah. There's inflammation. Okay, there's telomeres. All these things. But the ingredients that will evolve. So the idea is not that it's like a list of ingredients. It's a framework or a blueprint that would guide the future. In 20 years, the quercetin was going to be nixed for something else, something we haven't even discovered or know about yet.
Right.
And then it'll just plug that in, see how everything works together in synergy and like a symbiotic relationship, just like in nature. And then I think that's the proper way, not only for a business to be able to stay relevant and sustain itself, but also to be relevant and give people the best quality they can get.
Right.
You know, and it's both of those things together.
Not just
Like,
make
we're all quality over quantity, right? It's I mean, of course, we want to produce as much for people that, and we hope, of course, that like I said, we're thinking a lot about the philanthropy on this side of things. So of course we would like to make a lot of money with it, because when we make money, we can give back more money, right?
Exactly.
We can invest in other people that maybe didn't have the opportunities, or for people that are super smart and they're just not having the opportunities, and make them scholarships or any of these things. Give them the chance to not have to go through what and work as hard as we have to do. So like it's all interconnected, and it's fun. It is a lot of fun. It is really a lot.
Well, it sounds like you guys are really passionate about it, and it's not just, because you're talking about, you're not gonna just leave it there and this is the best thing ever and
No, it's not
just
the
make
best
money
thing
with
ever.
it. You
uh,
open to the innovation of it, and it seems like you guys genuinely want to help people. So
change is
think-
progress.
I think that's an
Mhm.
awesome thing. Can I have some?
Of course. For life.
I could get rid of a
Yeah.
little brain fog. That kind of makes me think of another.
The alcohol time.
Yeah.
That kind of makes me think of another question though. Because I smoke marijuana, smoke cannabis every day. You know what I'm saying? Makes me a more empathetic person, like I was telling you
Yes,
before.
yes.
I don't know if you know. I'm just spitballing, but can you tell us how marijuana affects the brain? Do you know anything about that?
I have reasonably so. I can't endorse it or anything like that.
Okay.
I mean, but yes, I think it's certain. It relaxes us. It affects many areas of the brain. It really depends on the unique person. It can go to areas of our brain that control our emotions, like our amygdala, which is our emotion center, our limbic system, which controls like our inner thoughts, inner behaviors, sort of our impulse.
Right.
So it really depends on the person, because as you know, some people who smoke marijuana will be calm and cool and collected, as if that's their inner self, or some people will be paranoid and wigged out, and that's their inner self. So it really depends on how it works with you. As far as like the consequences of that from a health perspective, it's also such a gray area.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I don't think anybody knows for real.
Yeah, because you hear like,
Yeah.
long term, it can make
Yes.
you slower,
Yes.
affect your brain, or
Yes.
some people say it, helps long
Yeah,
term.
for-
A guy come up to me and is like, "Well, I smoke weed. I will never get cancer," because you think like.
Well, people listen
Right.
listen to what whatever the internet says, but
Right.
but I mean you'll have studies that say, well, marijuana is associated with the development of schizophrenia, which is obviously concerning, or mental illness. But then you'll have medical marijuana or medicinal marijuana, which really helps people through hard times where they have cancer, and they just stimulate their appetite to improve their mood. So there's a variability, and I think it's a matter of what works for you.
But you don't think it like degrades your brain over time?
In my personal opinion, I don't know. I don't think so, but I don't know. It's the thing. I don't know. And like, a big thing is when you don't know, you just say you don't know.
Yeah.
Right.
Trying to make up some story and act like I'm not sure. I don't think so, but I'm not as well versed in it as I should be to make that opinion. But I don't know. Just
What
don't
about
know.
what about starting smoking too early, like when you're a
I
early
think-
teenager?
Yeah, I think when you do things too early, because your brain is developing actively. Oh no, it's okay. Your brain. Oh, good job, honey. Or a little wolf. So the brain is developing until you're in your. I mean, one would say until you're dead, because people are acting immature when they're 7 years old.
Right.
And they're like I was
She
like.
says I never. I said I'm 12. She says no, honey, 8.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
no, like you're like 9. But I would say like when the brain is developing into your late 20s, even your 30s, you're okay then. But when your brain is really, really developing and you're introducing things that change your brain chemistry,
Right.
it may not be detrimental for everybody, because literally everyone is different. We are, as much as I hate the idea of everybody being an individual snowflake, and all that, we kind of, I don't like all that terminology, and I hate those words, because we actually are. We are really, really, even identical twins are different, like
Right.
in some sort of at least epigenetic way, or like the way our genes end up being expressed.
Okay.
So I would say it really depends on the person, but I would be weary of doing things too young, whatever it may be, that affect your brain, because you're sort of, then you're really, you're changing the trajectory in which your brain develops.
Right.
For better or for worse. Some people may thrive, some people may falter. It really depends. I think it really depends. And I don't know enough about it, but I'm interested now. I say, I don't know, but I'm going to try to find out.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I started smoking weed at like 16 or something like that.
But you're a very
That's why he's talking.
no, but you're no, but let me tell you, no, but hey, when I met you yesterday, I'm very honest. You were such. I mean, it's obviously first impression. I guess not really first anymore. It's been a day or
Yeah.
two, but you are a highly intelligent, empathetic, kind, deep person. So whatever you did, it worked for you. I
Thank
mean,
you.
like I can get along with anybody, and I can adapt to whatever their personalities are, and I can sort of do the social graces very easily. But to really like be like this is an interesting motherfucker, and I want to talk to him like indefinitely. It almost never happens. So I think whatever you did, it worked for you because you're very like the way you think and the way you formed your opinions is very like it's like you actually formed your opinion. Like you actually form your own opinions. It's like
Yeah.
you're not just bouncing off of, everybody's just playing a game of telephone and it's nonsense and everything. I
Exactly.
feel like people are just house of cards, but like I really respect that. In my short time, I was like, you know what?
That's cool, motherfucker.
It's a cool motherfucker. So
Well, thank you so
no, and I really
much.
mean that. Otherwise, I wouldn't say anything. I'd be
Right.
like, all right,
Phil's
whatever.
friend is here. I'll go in the other room.
Yeah, I wouldn't-
No, that's literally what.
Yeah,
would
I
happen,
wouldn't-
right?
or I
She
would- I
like,
would have
"Get
been
that
nice. I
motherfucker
would have-
out of my house. She would tell me that, get that motherfucker out.
No, I
Yeah.
would be like, it's okay, but like I'm gonna work in order. But I'm like, you're like, no, you did fine at 16, whatever. For somebody else, it might have been a back case, but maybe they were gonna be that anyway.
Yeah.
You can't even say it's like chicken or egg. I mean, like, what is it? That association is not causation. Okay, like just
Mm,
because two things happen doesn't mean they're related. Like,
yeah.
like.
I feel like people do that a lot.
Oh,
you know?
it's like,
yeah.
oh, the sky is blue. I got in a car accident. I got in a car accident because the sky is blue. No, you didn't. Like,
Exactly.
so it could just be that somebody who wants something to maybe, if they're that type of person who ends up being very high strung and very messed up or very like all over the place, maybe they were looking for an escape at some point. Even if they hadn't smoked marijuana, they would have ended up the same place. Like you can't like unless somebody does some very unethical randomized clinical trial on this, like you can't say. You can just kind of do the laboratory research, look at the chemistry of things, but like making that association to make it like clinically like actually like then make it applicable to people,
Mhm.
that's hard. That's hard to do. And I
It
mean, I
is.
don't know if somebody's doing it, but I would say it's a gray zone and people should do whatever the heck they want to do as long as they're not hurting anybody else.
I totally agree.
Mm.
And thank you for the compliments.
Oh, I actually mean that. I don't say what I just
And she doesn't say that lightly. So.
I know. I was like I was like, oh my God, like, wow, like you're like really an independent
you
thinker.
You get to come back.
No, but like
a lot of my friends don't.
Okay.
Everybody Philip does whatever he wants. I just say, all right, Philip, here we go. I'm ready
Yeah.
for the ride. But it's more like being an independent thinker is very rare in our age bracket. I
is
mean,
these
millennials and
days.
people younger, and I'm sure people. Honestly, I've seen people way our parents' age who seem like they seem also brainwashed. I'm not sure how that even
They
happened.
now have blue hair and
Now-
there.
Oh
and-
my God. The blue hair.
Yeah, but like being an independent thinker in our time is, it's refreshing.
Yeah.
Because most people I know are just like
They're sheep.
they are sheep and they're living in their own bubble, and
they're
that's
dull.
they're just so like even people that try to act all deep and cool, you talk to them and it is just fucking
Yeah.
it's
The
bull.
people also just stop being interesting, right? Like it's really like I know that's harsh to say, but how many interesting people do you actually know? Where
Oh,
you can sit down and like we did, we talked for what 6 hours yesterday or
Yeah.
something, right? And then Fair came in, we had the most interesting conversations. I mean, the only person that I know is my wife that I do that with, and it is, she says that she put it in the right perspective. It's like it's so refreshing to have somebody to actually have a chat with and not talk about one specific topic, right? Talk about everything that's going on,
Everything,
right?
yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
we had so many topics yesterday,
Yeah.
right? And but also not that we left anything out. So no,
No.
we had our opinions, and we and the beautiful thing is also like if there's something that we didn't know, or that we don't
Or
have
don't
the answer
agree
to,
on, it's
it's okay,
okay.
right?
Yeah,
Like,
nobody's
grow
getting
up,
pissed off. That happens a
No.
lot too. Like if you don't agree with every idea some
God.
people have, you're the devil.
Well, how do
Yeah.
you think my wife is still sane with all the shit that I'm saying?
I mean,
all day?
no, this is what my full-time job is. This motherfucker. And then everything else. But You know, one thing we've been saying, and it's not a
Maybe
quote.
the baby.
No, you and then her.
Oh.
But one thing is it's not a quote we made up. We had seen it somewhere, but I'm not I don't remember it verbatim, and I'm not saying it as eloquently as it was written somewhere, but
Right.
I think is never has not a generation, because I think it's multi-generational at this point, but just to make it simple, never has a generation documented themselves so much doing so little.
That's
Like
a
the
great
people
quote.
that are really doing stuff and really making a difference, they're not posting pictures of themselves when they wake up, when they poop, when they pee, when they like documenting it as if like it's you're like your own superstar in your own mind. And just,
Right.
I find that to be one of the most cringy ick I can't
I find it very cringe too.
like it's like, oh my God, like what are you doing, man? Like you're what are you doing?
I think that
Let me hold on. I have to quote here. Let me
Ah.
see real quick. We the unwilling, led by the unknowing,
Mm.
are doing the impossible for the ungrateful. We have done so much for so long with so little. We are now qualified to do anything with nothing forever.
And those are the
my
people, I
God.
guess, who aren't posting a million pictures of themselves every day.
Yeah.
I like we just
Yeah, there's that guy, the guy who says it, his voice is so like, it's like in black and white. It's like,
wow, now it's because it is so true. It is so true. Like people document getting out of bed, and it's also like you have these Instagram influencer chicks or dudes,
The
right?
morning routine.
Yeah, morning routine.
I go to
Hey,
bed
already
with
jail, like
mask and I wear
woke up like this, right? I
Right,
mean,
right.
come on. It's like the fact that my wife is even wearing makeup today is a miracle, right? Because like she does, it is a miracle, and but she did it herself too. Like, yeah. She wanted to be an adult today. What is coming now? Is that the Cirrus coming back?
a little plain maybe. But I did want to mention the DEI thing if when at the end, if you,
Yeah, we can do that
because
at
I'm
the end.
like passionate about that.
Yeah, we can talk about that, the last thing, and then we can wrap it up. But maybe we should wait
I
a
think
sec.
that's the little plane with the ladies, guys.
Oh, they're back already?
It's what? Is that the plane?
I don't think he knows where he's going.
Yeah, plane, for everybody who's still tuned in, a plane just landed.
They'll figure it out in here.
Okay.
Hey, be careful with these cameras.
It's okay. It's okay.
Is that the plane with the guy, that British guy's plane? Is that the British guy's plane? Is that the British guy's plane?
Oh, no.
Oh, okay. Liam.
Watch out. Cover, Carlin.
I like that. I like the smell of gasoline. I always have. It's terrible.
For real?
I like what? I mean, I don't smell it because I know it's not. But I mean, there's something about like white out and.
Sand up and
Oh,
stuff.
okay.
I think it's far away now for us to.
Peppered by a Gulfstream yesterday.
Yeah, I remember that.
But I mean that you're like, I was just like, your independent thinkers are like, honestly, like, rare. And you have to be, you know what? You have to be brave and not just smart.
You gotta
You have
hold
to be
the mic up a
brave
little
and
bit
have
though.
balls to. You have to be brave and have balls to think for yourself. Like you can be smart, but still be like, I'm just gonna go along with it. But you have to have fucking balls, and you have to have courage, and you have to be confident about your belief. Like be an independent thinker nowadays, you have to be a lot of things,
Yeah,
not just smart. You know, a
for
lot of
sure.
smart people end up being real stupid eventually.
You gotta have a lot of fuck off in your system too.
Yeah.
Like,
And like just okay with like being alone and being like having nobody understand you, and being okay with that makes you very secure in yourself when you're not dependent on everybody like being a cheerleader for you. No, man. When you're self-sustainable and like you're fine. Like life is like boom.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's very true because I get a lot of backlash for my unfiltered opinions because I don't hold my tongue. I'm not malicious with it. Like if I feel like something I might say might hurt somebody or offend somebody, I'll still say what I mean, but I'll curtail it a little bit to be a little more digestible. So
I do that too.
because I don't want to turn people off with my opinions, necessarily, but I do think it's necessary to just tell the truth, and I think people are afraid of the truth these days, and that's really why I started my podcast in the first place, because like living in Germany, everybody's speaking German. I was missing English, so I started listening to a lot of podcasts, a lot of radio shows and stuff like that to just kind of be a fly on the wall. Listening to more political stuff. I was watching CNN, Fox News, the whole spectrum, and gathering what I see the truth is in there, and what is most likely the ultimate truth in between everything I was taking in. You know what I'm saying? And I felt like it was just a lot of lying going on. And if it's not like a blatant lie, it's a lot of spin. It's a lot of spin to whatever narrative that person or that network wants to push, or just whatever bias somebody, whatever media
Absolutely.
personality I was watching was trying to push, and it was very disingenuous, and it really started to piss me off if I'm honest, So
Yeah.
I was like, you know what, man, it has to be. Not that I think I know every fucking thing, because I learn something new every day, and I'm not afraid to change my opinion if I get new information and stuff.
And you know what? That's a very valuable trait to have.
Right.
To really be impacted by something like, hey, you know what? You're right. I didn't. Not a lot of people can do that.
Yeah. So I was kind of like that, and I was like, it's got to be more voices in the world who are not afraid to, challenge the status quo, or what, the media, the mainstream media, or whatever that means, wants to push. Somebody has to look at stuff and just cut all the bullshit out, cut all the, who's gonna be offended by this out, and just tell people the unbridled truth, and just lay it out there, and people can accept it, people can get mad, and maybe I'll change a few minds for the better, you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So that's like my whole mission, like with everything I do, like in media. Appreciate it.
Yeah, no, I mean that's we have really a lot of respect for that, and it's especially just as you said, like if you look at a big word that you said is people being offended, right? I mean, I don't know how, like, I grew up in a world where when I was young, that really didn't happen. You know, like I don't know when did it start? People being so offended about so many things all the time. I mean, you live your life with so much anxiety if you do that. You walk on the street. Oh, he's just. Oh, how can you drink alcohol? I'm offended.
It must be a horrible existence to just live.
It has to be.
I wonder if some of it happened, a little bit in COVID, I think. Like, I think it is that we are in a society where, especially as we become more advanced and like we're the first world countries, there's too much time on people's hands.
Oh yeah.
And when you have too much time on your hands, your brain festers, and it invents problems that honestly didn't even exist.
Yeah.
And people just find ways to just like it's such a selfish existence. People that when you work hard and when you're really doing things, you don't have time to sit around and be like, why don't I feel good? It must be everyone else.
Yeah.
And
what a cop
that's
out.
just, I have no respect for that.
And a really good example of that is you having a good time. Yeah, she's happy. She doesn't care. A really big thing about this is actually the Trump derangement syndrome. I think that is something that actually exists.
I think so
by
too.
now, right? It is so hideous in so many ways. I mean, I have no problem with I voted for Trump and I'm a Republican, and it is coming here from Germany. That's usually the other side of the aisle where that goes. But as an American right now, living, working, and conducting our lives in America, right? It changed my perspective, because I came here as an immigrant in the first Trump presidency, and I thought it would be more difficult in any of these things. I mean, it's difficult overall.
Right.
I mean, trying to come to America is a fucking shit show.
Yeah.
Sorry to put it like that, right? And I like his policies. Do I think he puts his foot in his mouth sometimes and he's a clown sometimes? Absolutely. But if I look at the second term now that he's serving, I think he has the right people around himself and surrounds himself with the correct people.
Yeah.
And shit's moving forward, right? And yeah, a lot of these things that he has the balls to say shit.
Yes, he does.
That nobody else would do. And I like the way he took on NATO, the way he took on tariffs and these kind of things. And I mean, it is a long-term goal, right? And but at the end of the day, man, let the man run the country. He made billions of dollars for a reason. And listen, if we end up paying less taxes, I fucking take it.
Right.
And it's everybody that saves money with this, like just with the big beautiful bill. And I think people don't take the time to actually read through these bills.
Listen to the fear mongering.
Exactly.
Going back to what we were saying about the people adopting whatever the media feeds them
right,
in their echo chamber.
Like, how much time do you need to have on your hands to, first of all, like all of this protesting and stuff? Who has the freaking time to do that? I mean,
apparently a lot of people.
You got it. Yeah, she's heavy, huh? 16 pounds. Well, apparently too many people have time to do this. And what I personally didn't understand as an immigrant myself, right? And it was expensive. It was a long. Oh my God, she's also slobbering. Yeah,
it's all good.
It's a horrible process.
Yeah,
it is a horrible process to go through. And I don't understand with these protests down in LA that recently happened, where I'm a proud German, but I'm also a very proud American. And you have these. I would never in my life think to be here and protest and swing a German flag to this is America,
because that would be ridiculous,
right? So you're waving, and I have a lot of good Mexican friends, and I have a lot of good friends from South America, and I love them to death, and they're great people, and they share my opinion. Why do you don't want to go back there,
right?
But you burn the American flag and wave the Mexican flag in the streets of Los Angeles.
Doesn't make any sense.
I don't get it. They say, "Dog, it's stolen land. It's stolen land." A little bit of history, people. California was purchased by the United States. This is not none of this is stolen, right? And I just don't understand it. Like, do you not have any respect for? You don't want to go back to where you're waving your flag from. Doesn't make sense. If these people were in the streets waving American flags, we want to stay here, America first, and USA.
Yeah.
And maybe not burn and spit on the American flag.
Yeah, let me do that. Let me do that in Germany. You know what I'm saying? Because I live in Germany. Let me go in the street and set a German flag on fire. They're gonna kick me out the same day. You know what I'm saying? They sent me a letter talking about my immigration status because I got a ticket on a fucking scooter.
On your fucking scooter.
Yeah. They don't play. And there's no birthright citizenship there or anywhere else in the world. You go to Germany if you want to and think you're going to be two Americans or two people from whatever country and have a baby there and it's going to be German. You are in for a rude awakening.
Exactly. No, yeah, you'll be surprised. I mean, I've made a big mistake when it came to my immigration, because I did not realize I would lose my German citizenship the second I
they
get
took your
sworn
German?
in. I am unfortunately no longer a German, like on paper. Yeah,
I didn't know they did that.
And it takes 3, 4, 5 years to. Well, that only came up because we said, like, okay, we'd like to have our daughter to have dual citizenship.
Right.
So if she wants to go to Europe at some point, she can. And I mean, that's going to be a process now. It's going to be a 3-4 year process for me to get my dual citizenship from the country that I have a birth certificate from.
Wow.
Kindergarten
I
transcript.
right. I gotta get no.
Oh.
Listen, they make me get like all like cards and transcripts and stuff like that. The fact where I went to school and all these things. It's a pain in the ass.
With the German government,
With
so
the
you get
German
your passport
government,
back? Okay.
yes.
Wow.
No, I'm just fully American. I have to when we fly to Europe or when we fly to Germany, I have to go to immigration with my American passport and go through it like an American.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's news to me.
that's my own mistake. No, it's and I was devastated like when we found that out because I spoke to the consulate down in Miami because we wanted her to get and maybe same with Farah.
Mhm.
So we can all have dual citizenship and yeah that did not work out well for me.
Oh wow, man.
Yeah.
Well, good luck with that process, man. But that just shows you that other countries don't play around when it
Mhm.
comes to like, immigration and stuff. And people here are so they don't appreciate it and they're so ideologically driven that
Mhm.
they go protest for nonsense. Cause nobody hates immigration or immigrants just for being immigrants. People just rightfully so are concerned with undocumented people
Correct.
coming in because if they're undocumented, you don't have documents on them. You don't know who the fuck, you don't know who the hell they
the
are.
fuck you are. Yeah.
And they came here illegally, and it spits in the face of people like you
Exactly.
who came here the right way and got your shit the right way. Why would you or anybody else be okay with that unless they're,
Right.
Trump deranged or ideologically driven to like, because I had an argument with a family member of mine,
Mhm.
right? Because I was like, I posted a status and I was like, immigration is not a black issue because a lot of black people were coming
Right.
out like, oh, we're next and they're gonna send us
Oh
back
my
to Africa.
God.
First of all, you've never been to Africa. You're not actually
yeah.
African.
Right.
As American as white Americans.
Yes.
Been around since everybody got here.
Yes.
And poor Native Americans, but that's a different
So
story.
it's ridiculous to think, to fearmonger and say Trump is gonna send black people back to Africa because you can't go back to where you came from. But my point is
Sorry, like
it is a thing though.
I'm not trying to, with because family member of yours, but I think like who put that in your head, right? That is what I
CNN,
think.
MSNBC, Joy Reid, you know what I'm saying? And
Yeah, these guys. Yeah.
it's just like they conflate it and fearmonger about it, but if you really dive into it, we just want the illegals out, you know what I'm
Right,
saying?
exactly.
And we want it to be fair for people who came here and did the right thing.
Did it the right way, worked hard, and I like I said, I know a lot of them, and I know a lot of Mexicans or people from South America. They did it legally, right? And
Right.
I mean, Nelson is a fantastic example, right? He's a U.S. citizen for about 10 years. I mean, the man flew in the Colombian army,
Mhm.
then for the U.S. Army, right? Went to war a bunch of times for all that, and then went over to Europe and came back and trains helicopter pilots and combat pilots everywhere, right? And
Earned to stay.
earned every single thing that he did, and I have so much respect for people like that. And I'm sorry if you only because you swam across a river and jumped a fence does not give you the right, in my personal opinion, to
Be
conduct
here.
business and live here and do whatever the fuck you want and
Yeah.
commit crimes or any of these things, right?
Yeah, and like I said, I had a little, not an argument, but a little
Right.
back and forth with him about it because I was like, because he commented and he was like, I have a Venezuelan friend that is here undocumented, and he was like, I go to protest on behalf of him, and blah blah blah, and I was like, man, you take your black ass out there, you want to, you know what I'm
Right.
saying? But that's beside the point. I was like, like, why would it? But anyway,
Oh.
I was like, okay, because he was like, he's gonna get separated from his family, and it's cruel to regardless of what happened, and like it's inhumane and cruel to take somebody away from their family and send them back to where they came from. And I was like, okay, let's look at it a little more logical than
Right.
this. Being undocumented in America is a crime. You
Yeah,
broke the law.
you broke the
and
law.
nobody's trying to put you in jail. They're just trying to send you home. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? And okay, since you're hung up on family separation, right?
Mhm.
If his story was like his parents came undocumented, or they tried to come legally and didn't keep up with their paperwork, so they eventually became undocumented.
Okay,
And
well,
then they didn't. They in turn didn't document their son. So he was like, it's not his fault. And I was like, okay,
no, you fucked
well,
up.
his parents failed him.
Right.
In the same way, a drug dealer's like, say your dad is a drug dealer. He afforded you your whole life off the drug money. You lived, and he got away with it for 15 years. You
Mhm.
know what I'm saying? And then he gets caught, and he gets separated from the family and get put in prison. I was like, are you gonna go protest for that family and
No,
that
nobody's
guy?
gonna do that.
So why are you protesting for the other crime?
Really good point, Tommy. No, really good point. It's and it's a lot of things, right? It's not that I know some people that that are in DACA state. I think there's this DACA thing.
The dreamers or whatever.
No. It's actually people that came from Mexico and stuff like that, and they live and work over here in the U.S. and but they have some kind of protective status
Yeah.
or something like
The
that.
DACA recipients.
Yeah, right. And I mean, these people, I know a few of them, and they're hard-working motherfuckers.
Mm.
And all they want to do is make sure. I mean, their children are born here, right? They've been
Right.
trying to do all of these things for decades.
Right.
And it takes them 2-3 decades to get a green card.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I mean, that's dedication. They always have to keep up with their stuff.
Right. That's your responsibility, though.
Exactly. And if you think, oh, it's too hard to keep up with my paperwork, well, sorry. Like
gotta
if you
go home.
like it's that this is your responsibility and you have a responsibility for your family, then do your job.
Exactly. Okay, so before we wrap it up, you wanted to share your opinion about DEI.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, yeah. That. So I had when you were. You wanna-
Yeah, we'll trade.
When
Good trait.
Yeah, when you guys were talking about it, it just I started having all these thoughts because I think I have a bit of a unique perspective, I think, because my field is very like there's a lot of women physicians, of course. I think it's almost 50-50 now, but
Okay.
in my particular in the brain plumbing world, it's a very, very low percentage. I don't know exactly what, but single digits kind of thing.
Mhm.
So and I'm a woman, and I'm also I'm Haitian. That is also another can of worms because
that
that's like
is.
one of the things where I look a certain way that doesn't fit into whatever. So in my growing up, I just had even in college and in med school and all these things, I tried not to really highlight those things too much because I wanted everything to just be merit, you
Right.
know? And it sucks that people have to even think that way. And you know what? I actually think that, how a lot of things that end up badly really come from good intentions
Mhm.
and good roots.
Right.
I think that at the end of the day, it's like AI where, it's a good thing, but in the wrong hands, it can be bad, right?
Right.
I think it's not as drastic, but similar. Like, of course, for a long time, certain people were giving certain opportunities and others weren't.
Yeah.
And it's a matter of patience. It takes time. Then when things are opened up to people of different races, people of different genders, and it takes time for not just the opportunities to be available, but it takes time and patience and a lot of time for the resources to be accessible. I agree that some minorities and some genders, they're not going to there's going to be discrepancies in socioeconomic status and
Mhm.
academics and all of these things based on so many factors and variables that one doesn't know. It takes time. It takes decades for that to catch up. For everybody to be on an equal playing field takes time.
Yeah.
And I think it was rushed. I think it's like, I think everybody is the smartest person on the face of this earth could be somebody living in poverty in South America or in Africa who has no opportunities, but their brain, they literally are the smartest person will ever exist in this world, but they just
Right.
don't have the opportunity.
Mhm.
And I think human beings are, you never know.
Right.
And I think I really do think we're all the same at the end of the day. And all these other things are just cultural and societal manifestations that are just bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what? You can't just erase the past. You can't just erase all these things. So then people have this stigma and these thoughts and these stereotypes, and which some people perpetuate and some people
Yes.
don't. And it just takes so much time. And I think we rushed it. Just like we do
Forced it.
forced it. Just like we want immediate gratification in everything. We want to feel good now. We want to look good now. We want to be good now. Unfortunately, these things take time.
Yes.
I think really setting the foundations to really provide the opportunities for all people, at least in the developed countries, because that's a whole nother story in the developing world where they have survival problems. They don't have
Right.
these. It's not a matter of climbing. It's a matter of surviving and not thriving. We have the opportunity and luxury to do so here. Not everybody does.
Mhm.
And I think providing the real foundations, like actually implementing programs and doing things that make a difference, so that eventually people who are the black, the Haitian girl
Mhm.
or the I don't know, Iranian boy or whatever, who is actually the best person for what they want to do,
Mhm.
gets it, and nobody is even thinking about what they look like.
Exactly.
And I just think, I wish that we could just close our eyes and just see people for really who they
Who
are.
they are, not what color
And I think like
who they
those,
sleep with or some
but
shit.
you know what? It's so much easier to just make these dramatic or drastic implement these drastic changes and try to change everybody's thought process or views, as opposed to the real work, the grassroots, bottom up work, giving people opportunities so they can finally. It may take 50 years, and people want to see this happen next year. People want to see
Exactly.
it
Or right now.
right now. And you know what? When one person, when something like these events happen, that and people say, "What's DEI?" and look at that, see, it failed. That sets
Mhm.
other people up for failure.
Yes, it
Then
does.
just like it's another conversation. But when I was 18, it was the first time I could vote, obviously, and that was the year that Obama was running. And I thought, I'm an independent. I've been registered independent since I was 17, because I think everybody's an idiot and I want to make informed decisions in my life.
Mhm.
I mean, I'm not in Miami. You have a weird mix where that's where I'm from. A lot of Cubans are Republican, and then you have other people Democrat. I was like, everybody seems to not know what they're doing here. So I'm
Right.
just going to be, and I voted for him. And I voted for him when I was 18. And because you know what? I was like, first Black president. Of course, I don't agree with that's a whole nother thing. But I was
Mhm.
like, this man is a articulate, well-spoken,
He's a
intelligent,
statesman.
like charismatic,
Mhm.
reasonable
Mhm.
person. I don't all the other stuff. Yeah, I may not have. I didn't vote for him the second time, but
Me either.
but I was like, you know what? I like he was in my mind as first Black president, set like a
He was
standard.
presidential.
He was presidential. And whatever else, because after a president gets elected, then all the other things you don't know what they're going to actually do, right? So that's a whole nother can of worms. But I'm just saying, like, wait for the right time may take time
Mhm.
and patience, and allowing people to really just end up having the same opportunities. And that is I can't even imagine the degree of work that would entail, because to actually get people to the same level where they can have the same opportunities and really, really succeed based on merit. That's hard. That takes a lot of work that nobody wants to do.
Yeah, like you said, I think it's very forced. It's been very forced, and that just turns people off, and it doesn't breed
I
a
told you
changed
so.
mind.
Mm,
It breeds resentment.
exactly.
Because people if you want to change somebody's mind, they have to be persuaded. You know what I'm saying? Like the example I gave you earlier, or like if you're in a relationship and you're struggling sexually or something like that, and like say you're a man, and your wife stopped having sex with you as much as you want. Is it a better idea to complain about it, make her feel bad about it, accuse her of things for it and, make her reluctantly give you sex? Or is it better to persuade her by, making your, taking care of yourself more, going to the gym, being nicer to her, seducing her into a better, over time into a better situation to where you're both in this on a better page and it just happens naturally,
Organically and naturally.
or do you want to just, have
Yeah.
quickie, meaningless quickies all the time? And it's one place is gonna get you to a genuine place of, where you really want to be, and one is just, give me this because I feel bad about it, and I don't care what you actually think about it. Just change yourself so you make me happy. You know what I'm saying? And that's how I, a roundabout see like DEI type of stuff, because it's so forced, it's so pushed, and you're a piece of shit if you're white and you don't agree with it.
I couldn't have said it better.
Yeah.
Right.
No, good.
And on that note, I think we're gonna wrap it up. I think this was a very, very good conversation. I appreciate you guys for being on the show. You know what I'm saying? I think
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, I could talk to you for hours. You're the most interesting man, and aside from Philip,
Besides,
in the Treasure Coast area.
Right. And he's gonna leave tomorrow.
Yeah. And then Philip is the cheese stands alone, but at least we have each other's.
the cheese stands alone.
Yeah.
That's saying you guys. Say?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I'm not gonna fly you back. I'll go drive you back.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I can deal with that.
Sorry
All right.
about that.
No. It would be cool to go, but we're gonna go on the boat later, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. All right. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. I'm Tommy Guns. This has been the Quote Goes podcast, and we'll see you guys on the next one.
Thank you.
Peace.
Bye.
Bye.